On December 26 of 2024, the world of aviation changed forever. Images and videos surfaced online of apparently not only one but two next-generation Chinese aircraft. And folks, I'm talking about sixth-generation aircraft, something that even the West doesn't have, proving that the Chinese may have finally beaten the Americans to the punch and will soon rule this skies. Well, maybe not. Let's dive into this quite unexpected development and discuss how did the Chinese build a new stealth jet, and is there an American response ready, or have the Chinese finally surpassed the West in aircraft development? This is the story of the top-secret Chinese stealth jet, the brand new J-36. Let's talk about what we know so far. The aircraft's official name hasn't been disclosed yet, but apparently it should be the J-36 because of the number 36011 seen on the forward fuselage. The J-20 prototype had 20,111 painted on the fuselage, and in the end its official designation became the J-20. So this is what's leading people to believe that this new aircraft will be the J-36. Another thing pointing us in the same direction is that it's the next number after the latest fighter that entered service, the existing J-35. And did I say fighter? Well, this new aircraft may actually not be a fighter at all, and it may not even bear the J designation. So let me explain. Researching this video today was hard. Look at all these Chinese documents, news articles, and history of the aircraft development. And the nature of YouTube is that I want to get out this video fast and I have no time to sit and read everything. That's where my new best friend comes in, Highlight AI. This isn't just like an AI assistant that points me in the right direction or quotes Wikipedia. This AI can do nearly anything. For example, it can summarize YouTube videos for me so I can see what other experts in the industry have said and understand difficult concepts quickly to incorporate them into my script. I have to say this AI is actually really fast and replying. And let's ask it, which jet is better, the F-22 Raptor or the J-36? And it's actually giving me a surprising if maybe somewhat accurate answer. I'm actually very impressed. It can also fact-check the script, telling me if something isn't correct or factually untrue from real-life research papers. It can also help me with my writing to give it more flair, reply to emails, summarize long meetings that I get stuck in and turn them into exciting to-do lists, and even analyze complex financial data to provide me insights that I might have missed. And once I'm ready to upload, the Content Creator Helper shortcut easily checks if my video is optimized to do well on socials. If it isn't, it gives me suggestions on how it can be. And you can share all of this easily with friends and co-workers just by copying and pasting the link. Finally, we have a useful AI that can do everything. So what are you waiting for? Sign up and download the Highlight desktop app so you can spend more time booking those flights overseas and less time on trying to understand how the Chinese even built a 6th-gen jet. Just use my link down in the description. Currently we have no idea what will be the purpose of this aircraft, but there are two main theories which make sense. The first one is that it's going to be a heavy fighter interceptor, or that it's going to be a new strike fighter or a fighter bomber akin to the F-15E or S-34, just with stealth and new technologies in mind. Both of these theories are spun from the fact that this jet is massive. We saw the J-36 flying next to a J-20, and the J-20 is already a very large aircraft, with the 36 being slightly larger. This is going to be a huge beast. And there's more evidence that this aircraft can carry heavy weight, like double-oared landing gear to distribute the weight evenly on the runway, and three engines. 3-engine tactical aircraft aren't new, and we already did a story about one that actually had a flying prototype, the Marin XP-51 back in the Cold War. But to see a 3-engine aircraft come back in the modern era is frankly very surprising. The engine placement on the J-36 also speaks volumes about what they have in mind for this next-gen aircraft. From the front of the plane with its engine intakes, we can clearly see that two of the intakes called KET intakes are on the bottom of the fuselage, and then there is one on the upper fuselage. Separate intakes may mean separate functionality for these engines. The swept angles and inlet shapes are also similar to the F-22, and they point to a maximum speed over Mach 2 and a high supercruise speed. And that's where our two interesting theories about this third engine come in. The first, this might be a scramjet engine. A scramjet is a supersonic-operated ramjet, meaning that there is no cone to slow the airflow to subsonic speeds like on a classic ram. The air itself would enter the intake at a supersonic speed, giving the aircraft the ability to push past the Mach 3 barrier. But the second theory is that the aircraft might use all of its engines for supercruise at a high Mach number and then, when entering enemy territory, turn off 2 of the engines and close the intakes to only use the middle engine in a stealth mode to avoid detection by the enemy and perform an attack at subsonic speeds. Again, this is very similar to the replacement of the B-2 and B-21 engine intakes on top of the fuselage. Of course, there is a more realistic third option, that this 3-engine layout is because of the aircraft's massive size. It has a large payload capacity, it needs a lot of thrust, and the intake on top is the only logical solution to allow for a center-located weapons bay on the bottom. And let's talk about that weapons bay. In the middle of the fuselage there's a large container for the weapon system, clearly large enough for cruise missiles or any other heavy weaponry. Of course, payload capacity at this point with me sitting in my armchair is pure speculation, but some pictures point to an additional 2 weapon bays for a single missile next to the main one. So this aircraft will carry a cruise missile and then perhaps 2 small air-to-air missiles for defense. Analyzing further, we can see that the wings are massive and have a very interesting shape, a diamond double delta hybrid with control surfaces akin to stealth tailless bombers like the B-2 and B-21. Tailless design requires additional control surfaces on the wings to compensate for the lack of rudders, and 2 pairs of split rudders and air brakes on the outer wings are replacing them. Additionally, 3 pairs of elevons are visible as well as the actuators for each elevon. However, split rudders and air brake actuators are not visible at all, rather blended into the wing. Why the Chinese didn't apply small wing blended actuators for all control surfaces is unknown at this point.